What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of the Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a good day. Much better than my beloved Lakers. Thanks, lower third guy.
Ooh.
First of all, go fuck yourself. Second of all, I'm trying to set up the jokes here, Tim. And you're not even on screen yet, so let me just get through my therapy before I do it. It's one thing to know your team is going to have a rough playoff. It's another to see it happen and then see the memes. For example, yesterday, there was a meme of the Timberwolves standing over LeBron and saying, "Is this your king?" And you just kind of have to accept it. It's not the best of days. Anyway, with that being said, lovely to have you here. Happy to have you here. And we'll see based on these comments if I'm happy to have Tim Freeman here. I go to him now.
RAF ESPARZA, listen, first of all, my condolences for the loss that the Los Angeles Lakers have suffered. I don't really care. I have disliked the Lakers since they beat the Sacramento Kings about 18 years ago. I retired from watching basketball at that point. So anytime an LA team loses, I'm pretty stoked about that. But he just pulled Cam off me.
You know what it was? It happened to mute you at the right time. Like, I think it wasn't my choice. It was Cam saying, like, you know what, whatever he's saying is some bullshit. Let's mute him until we go to the other scene. Go on, Tim.
Listen, look, we're both California boys, but as we know, you're from Southern California, I'm from Northern California. What that means is we'll fight together if somebody from Utah comes in, but NorCal versus SoCal, like, I don't know, man. We can't get together on the sports teams. But one thing we can agree about is we love jiu-jitsu. It's great to be back again this week. I'm rocking my OG Meta Morris t-shirt.
Look at that.
Look at that. Halleck Gracie, you are welcome. I'll send you a bill that won't be paid. But it's good to be back, man.
Could you imagine that all of us bought those shirts and we didn't have to pay for them? Like, if you really think about it, you should have been able to go up to concession stands and go, "Nah, just give it to me. I'm good for it. I'll get you later."
Yeah. I can't remember what I dropped on it. I think I dropped 30 bones on it, which I have 2 Meta Morris t-shirts. I'm glad I do. They're pretty cool.
Listen.
Still.
Good memories and still having some of the most epic moments in jiu-jitsu. You cannot dispute that. You can dispute charges if you are a creditor, though. That is definitely something you can do with Meta Morris. You know what it is?
Yeah.
I don't know why Halleck didn't take the perspective of just saying to, like, the credit card companies, "Oh, I didn't pay for that. Nope. I don't remember charging for a giant screen. Definitely not me." Like, you should have tried that at the least. I mean, you know what the worst part? Maybe he did. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
Maybe he did try every trick in the book. There was something I recently rewatched, which is the Paul Heyman documentary. And there's a moment where you see ECW go under, and that was his baby. And he was given the reins to run it, and he ran it creatively well, but ran it into the ground, where even as they were selling out merch and hitting new peaks on viewership, they had nowhere to go, and they were losing very, very fast amounts of cash. And Paul Heyman, in that documentary, it was revealed that he paid all of the guys from ECW one last check and then magically showed up on WWE. And all the guys from ECW were like, "What the fuck, dude?" And they didn't know it was the end. But what was interesting about it is, even though he didn't tell them, he did it after 90 days so that they could still be given the money even after they declared bankruptcy, so that they would get paid as creditors. And when you think about it, it seems like a shitty thing to do. And it's like, oh, he's going to be okay. What about us? But in actuality, it was the good guy result that you could pull from it. So, you know, some things are not as they seem, and a lot of us have to be hustlers in order to make things work in this environment sometimes. But nonetheless, yes, those are some things we wanted to bring up. We're going to get to the board here in a second, but we should address Kevin still on hiatus. I believe he has taken the Amelia Earhart School of Flying. So maybe in a vortex, maybe in a triangle, may come back older. We're not sure yet. He may be interstellaring right now, so he might come back a little bit older. Tim, do you have any updates on what may or may not be happening to Kevin here?
Yeah, I'm confused, and I actually want to reach out to the masses here. We got to find Kevin. If you see Kevin, take a pic, tag us, Grappling Hour, Inside BJJ, something. Let us know. We're looking for this guy. If there's a Kevin sighting out in the wild, you got to get a pic and send it to us because we can't find him. And we know he's not rolling like Carmen Sandiego, but he's somewhere in the South. We don't know if he's at a Greyhound. We don't know if he's, loitering at Starbucks. We don't know what's up with Kev. So I don't know, Raph. I'm getting concerned, though. His mom's still liking my photos, and she's still being supportive, but there's no Kev.
The thought of him being at a Greyhound is such an 80s, 90s kid reference because now I'm like, when kids run away, where do they go? Do they call an Uber? Like, what do kids do when they run away now? I don't even know. So when you mentioned that, I go, yeah, that's really funny because I remember, I think the one time I tried pulling that on my parents, I'm like, I'm running away. And they go, okay. And then I pack up a suitcase, luggage, rolling it out. I'm leaving. And they go, sure, have fun. Because they knew they're like, it's all a giant hill I have to go down before I get to any part of civilization. So I think in part they were like, it's a good workout. Let's see if he does it. And I have to admit, I got decently far. And I think I got all the way down to the local Albertsons. And then I was just like, this is dumb. And I think by the time I was really settled and like fearing, like, what do I do now? My sister was already down at the Albertsons being like, hey, idiot, get in the car. Let's go home. So,
I could just see a young kid producer, Raph, packing up his belongings, but also going like, and I'm gonna need the lights, and I'm gonna need the tripod, and I'm also gonna need.
I'll be honest right now. The version of me that runs away from home has to really make a choice between clothes and camera equipment.
Yeah.
Some of the guys, when they see me even going to the gym and I have an interview, they'll be like, Coach, did you need any help? And I was like, it's all for a purpose. Don't ask. I just have wires. And I go, and if I don't have the wire today, it's just like the wire drawer. The one time you need it is the one time you can't find it. So literally bring everything. So yeah, if you guys do see Kevin, that'd be great. Send us our way. You can trap him with a hall of mirrors. So if you find that, that's usually a good way to slow him down. He does respond to coffee. He does go by Kevin, some other aliases that I'm not sure of. And if you're really trying to make him feel good, you can just call him handsome. And, it basically does the Velociraptor, Chris Pratt, like this to him. Like he'll calm down if you just address his looks and not his talent. So thank you for that. Let's go to the board right now. Tim, we actually had some breaking news happen on the side here. We'll get to that in a second, but we should start with the number one news item, which is that this week, Ty Ruotolo is taking Dante Leon over at ONE FC. That is happening tomorrow. Now that we get the benefit of going before the event, I have to ask you, Tim Freeman, what is your excitement in that match? And it has been noted that Ty says it's going to end very quickly. Do you think that is going to be the case?
This is going to be a good match. These guys have already fought twice. Dante beat him on decision the first time, and Ty beat him with a choke the second time. Dante's been saying that he is going to be physically stronger, that it's going to be an explosive battle, that Ty needs to be ready. And Ty, he's saying that he's not looking past him, but he kind of is. He's already talking about, I got to get this one out of the way because then next I'm going to make my MMA debut and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I'm not looking past Dante, but I am thinking about the next guy. So I don't know if that's gamesmanship, if that's a tactic, if he's trying to get in Dante's head. I think Dante's taking this very, very, very seriously. Dante's a high-level grappler. He's looked great at ADCC. He's got a complete game. He's hard to put in a box. It's going to be a tough role for Ty. Having said that, man, Ty's a young kid and he's still getting better. He's still developing his tools and growing as an athlete and a martial artist and a grappler. So while I don't think Ty's going to finish him quickly, if he did, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. If he does, he's going to have to get him with a choke. I don't think he's going to finish him quickly with anything else.
I don't listen, dude. These are always very funny things when high-level practitioners say things like, I'll defeat this dude in 2 seconds. And I go, most people won't. So good dream. Doesn't mean you can't. Doesn't mean you won't. It's just, it's hard for me to see the vision, but it is what makes them spectacular athletes to watch. And I almost approach it from the mentality of, I'd like to see it. Like, I know the Ruotolo brothers. They're great. Super humble, nice kids. They definitely sold more of that fight to me when they're like, I'm going to put Dante Leon away in a fast amount of time. And I thought, okay. Well said, young man.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm just thinking of the reality of it and going, fuck, dude, I've seen Dante Leon. And when Dante says that he's coming back stronger, what he means is he's got a new strength training program. The last fight that he had in 1FC looked really good. It seems a high degree of difficulty. Nonetheless, I guess we're going to have to wait and see. So that's going to be something tomorrow. But if I were to wager, I do like where Ruotolo's at. Do I like his odds against Gordon Ryan? I mean, depends on how bad tummy hurt. What we should probably do on this show is get a sliding scale of what we think Gordon Ryan's tummy feels like on this given day. So maybe I'll talk to our graphics department.
You know, when you go to the doctor and they have the faces, the happy face, the regular face, the sad face. It'll just be like the Gordon tummy face.
I should really point this out here, Tim. I don't know what kind of healthcare provider you have, but if they are doing the happy, sad, and neutral face, it is a very bad damnation of current U.S. healthcare system. How are you feeling today? This one, this one, this one. Well, if you feel this one, can I see your insurance card, please? I can't do anymore until you tell me.
Yeah. Listen, this is what happens when you are raised in San Joaquin County, okay? It's not the finest, but it got me through.
Hey, listen, there's a lot of stuff that probably just got us through. It was not the finest. Let's just say that. But what I can tell you is I'm excited to see that. And I never know what time 1FC's events are because the internationalness. So in theory, it'll happen within the next 36 hours. I think that's a good thing to say. So I look forward to that result. Good luck to both of those gentlemen. We will now move on to our second topic, which some of this is breaking news and some of this is maybe a little bit of a recap. But earlier this week, newly tattooed OnlyFans feet artist Craig Jones was found unconscious, meaning he was choked out. And it did seem like it was a fun story. So I want to talk about that. But after that, Craig did come back too and made some announcements about CGI, which I will help you out with. But Tim, who choked him out and what exactly happened in that training session?
So some footage showed up on the internet here, and this is Craig Jones against JDM, not to be confused with MGT or JCVD or, any of those other initials out there.
Hey, Tim, JDM, I don't mean to interrupt you on this one, but like, has he reached like letter status, like acronym status?
No disrespect, Jack Della Maddalena, I guess.
Mandela, whatever. I just want to call him that. Every time I say that, I just think to myself, it's like, this one's for Mandela. So anyway, Jack Della Mandela, whatever you want to call him. He has been working with Craig Jones. Now, I guess the question is, what does that say? Is that saying more about the lack of training from Craig Jones? Or is that saying something about JDM's current status as a fighter?
Well, he's got the 3 initial name, which I did have to look up who JDM was. I was like, am I this like one of the Machados? And then I ended up on a Reddit thread where they were speculating on who JD the initial meant, and it was pretty damn funny. These are both, Australia's finest athletes. They're probably fighting over a boomerang. I don't know the full context, but you can tell that they got the discount octagon mat, the bright yellow one. Is this the UFC 300 one? Or is that 200 that they did in Brazil? But I think that if you watch the footage, JDM gets a takedown on Jones and then essentially finishes him with a Darce choke. And when you watch the video, like Jones, it was pretty obvious to me that Jones was out for a couple seconds before JDM realized it. Who knows what happened? I mean, what this really is people get caught all the time. It just doesn't always get to the internet. And who knows with Craig? Craig could have been under the influence of any number of things, including God's love. So, it doesn't surprise me. Craig doesn't care. All this kind of stuff does is raise Craig's stock. This is more Bugs Bunny, Warner Brothers, big cartoon running jiu-jitsu right now. If you think about it, he goes out there, he makes fun of himself, he gets put to sleep by a professional UFC fighter. It's ha, 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 ha. And you know what's coming next. There's flowers in the front and there's a hammer in the back. He's probably going to come out in the next couple of days and really put the smack down on somebody in a mean, serious way. And he'll have everyone's favor for it because he just got put to sleep. Highly entertaining.
It was. It was kind of weird, and I'll walk you through my progression of JDM. Who's JDM? And then I just started thinking, I was like, Junior Dos Montos?
Yeah, I was doing that too. I'm like, wait.
Do they have a kid? Who are we talking about? JDM? Is that like EDM? Because I know EDM. I don't know JDM. And to paraphrase the famous Keke Palmer saying, sorry to that man, I don't know who you are. And then once they said the name, I'm like, oh, the fighter, right? Yeah, of course that makes sense. They're working together. And Craig has used it as an opportunity to say, hey, this dude is super ready for his next fight. And okay, he's like, dude, he's gonna crush Bilal Muhammad. Great, I kind of believe you. But it did segue nicely into the fact that Craig Jones did make some announcements, and we do have some updates about the upcoming CJI 2. Would you like to hear them, Tim?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I was prepared for you to say no. But let's start with the first. We can announce that one of the coaches for the upcoming CJI is going to be Greg Saunders. So it's no surprise he made a big appearance over with the B team earlier this week, but he will be in charge of the Misfits team. So if there's ever been more of an appropriate labeling, it is the fact that you've got this guy who has made you so mad just because of the way he trains. He will now be heading up one of those teams, which can only encourage brilliant discussions on his work and the type of coaching he's going to do. But more than that, why are we bringing up people talking about coaching? Well, it turns out this season, Tim, coaching is going to have a way more prevalent role. So at CJI, they said, of course, one of the things they got was the 3-round aspect. People didn't love that. So they said, you know what? Why don't we just do the quintet format? That is Craig's favorite style of grappling that he has competed at. He said he's had the most fun doing any kind of quintet things. So that means that the coaches will be picking who goes first. And the strategy may be that they pick the biggest person, because if you put a 66er, and they're using the ADCC weight categories, by the way, because they just want to, I think, nail that in a little bit more. But the coaches are going to be picking who goes first. And Craig was saying, if you have one of your guys going first that is too small, you run the risk of getting them eliminated or wasting them. But if you start with one of your big men, it might be a strategy, and it really does depend on who. And part of the presentation is, Craig says, is that they are pulling from the world of WWE so that it feels like when they hit 0, there's a countdown to hearing who the coaches pick next. that it feels like a Royal Rumble entrance. So now we've seen what it looked like before with the Craig Jones Invitational as a spectacle for super fights that had 3 rounds that felt like MMA fights. Now they're smartly starting to pull from the world of professional wrestling. So based off of just those 2 announcements, Tim, what is your initial reaction to that?
Well, I think it's smart. I think that CJI won. There was a great storyline built into it, and that was ADCC Gordon Ryan. So there was a natural kind of rivalry going on and built-in tension that people wanted to see and take part of. And then he had a couple subplots like the Gabby Garcia fight and the Mazda Miata giveaway. So those were all things that people were like, man, I want to go see this. CJI 2 comes around. It's obviously the off year for ADCC. Gordon and Craig, that kind of feud is, it's probably, who knows where it's at. But let's just say, they're not beefing on the street right now. It's not on site, right? There's a delay now. They're just kind of trying to negotiate. So CJI needed something. They needed some kind of hook because I don't think they could go back out there, run the exact same format and get the same amount of heat, the same amount of eyeballs, the same amount of reviews and kind of afterburn that they got the first time. So Craig being who he is, he changes it up. He adds some novelty to it. He adds some nuance. And now as a spectator, I feel like CJI 1 delivered. I want to see CJI 2. It's not what CJI 1 was. It's different. So now I feel like I got to see that. So I think it's a smart move. The quintet strategy is interesting. I do think that's a fun format to watch. The WWE route, we've been saying for years, like you got to be entertaining. The thing about like not putting a little guy in though, man, I've seen that tactic work the other way around where they throw a little guy out there who stalls out one of the bigger, tougher dudes, and then they both get eliminated. So it's almost like a sacrifice type of a match, which can work, right? But you can also get tapped and get your team ran through. So I think that's a pretty dope approach, man. I'm looking forward to more from Craig in terms of special super fights. I want to see if he's really going to have a match with somebody, if he's really going to be involved, or if he's just going to chill. I don't know how Greg Souders is going to work. I really don't. Is he just going to be like the most silent, irritated coach? Is he just going to sit here like this and not shout instructions? I don't know what his coaching style is like, but it seems like it's not intrusive. So it'll be interesting. Maybe he's got some plays on the strategy and tactical side of managing the team overall. They're going to get good sound bites from him. So I think that's a smart move. I wish I would have thought of being the antagonist.
But like, what if they win? Like, do you understand the disrupt imbalance that'll happen if Greg Souders is the one to coach the winning team? Because the whole jiu-jitsu community has been split. Some people believe that, some people don't. I would like to believe that most people are pretty much like, train however you like, man. Having said that, that's not what the internet does. You have a feeling, you just find the slight fact that verifies or disproves your opinion, and then you just run with it 1,000 times. Having said that, maybe there's a missed opportunity here. Let me just pitch this to you. Craig, if you're listening, sometimes you are. I don't know. Can I just make my pitch here? I think more than just including Greg Souders here, you should also have a halftime show where he just debates some of the people in the audience. Just pick some randos. Last time you gave a Miata, I think that was some great crowd participation. This time, legitimately pick the people who have issues with eco and have them come out to the floor and air their grievances. Let's do it like a fucking town hall. Literally have Greg take them on one by one. It'll be the most fascinating entertainment you can come up with because people have feelings about this guy. And I have to tell you, I just know him as a coach and think, okay, he's a coach. That sounds good. Sounds good if his guys are winning. But people don't feel that way. And you're the king of knowing when the internet feels a certain way. And you even said that between him and the Brazil coach, there's a little bit of controversialness. And the weird part is, you're saying that, and you were equating, I think the other dude from Brazil, where he's like, oh, he's got these thoughts on trans people. I was like, I didn't even know that. Maybe you just were saying it in your weird Australian accent. But when you said he's got feelings on trans people, and we're equating that to in our world being as controversial as I train like this is how stupid the internet is. And that's why you need to take advantage of it. So that is my appeal to you. Halftime show, Greg Saunders, Town Hall, make it happen. I think that's the way to go. Biggest bang for your buck. And watch our people in jiu-jitsu be even dumber than all of the beautiful people from Pawnee on Parks and Recreation. Watch them be even stupider than those town halls. Nonetheless, I'll go ahead and bring up just a couple little quick last little factoids here. It does look like, yes, we did note that the teams are going to have a special feeling in their presentation. Craig also seemed to allude to the fact that there may be travel issues that are going to keep certain people from participating. So just remember that when you go vote, and that when you see somebody trying to do a third term, your boy might have blocked some of your favorite grapplers there. So suck on that while you pay for your tariff coffee. And additionally, it does look like, in answer to your question, Craig will, yes, be competing. He does seem to be talking like this match between him and Gable Steveson is happening. And part of the reason why they don't want to feature grapplers against wrestlers this time is that they're looking for more submissions. And they recognize that the wrestlers are good, but for a submission-only based tournament, it has limited yielded results. But one thing he did say that I did like in his conversation with our friend Alex Swendling is that he mentioned that they want to be good to those core individuals who participated in the Craig Jones Invitational numero uno. When he said that they wanted to try and help them out, he wants to have a spot for Pat Downey, even if it's not in the main bracket quintet format this time. He wants to be good to somebody like a Victor Hugo, who participated and made his way into CJI for a big, big opportunity the last time. So don't be surprised if you see some regular names from the first one making their way into the second one. So that's maybe a little bit of hint of where they want to go. But I appreciate that loyalty. Haha, take that, ADCC. That they're looking to repay those people who took a chance on them the first time. So between those things and more, I would tell you, Tim, I think they did a good job today of announcing stuff. So much that we couldn't even put it on the board. So instead, we had Craig gets a nap, and as a result, we ended up talking about CJI. So, well played, you dumb slut, Craig Jones, you. Well played.
Yeah. Got us again.
He did. Let's go to our next topic. And this is where I'll let you get your feelings in first. But it does look like GSP said he's not closing the door entirely to a BJJ return. With that being said, to you, Tim Freeman, is that something you're interested in, or has that ship sailed?
Definitely something that I would be interested in. For sure with George St. Pierre, because this is a guy that is not going to mail it in. He's not going to show up looking like, Bill Superfoot, Lightfoot, or whoever the character's name was in the Fist Foot Way, 30 pounds overweight, smoking with a hooker and a six pack. Like GSP, he's gonna have a fine lady with him, and he might have some very nice scotch on standby for when he destroys his opponent. But he's gonna show up ready. So I would like to see that. I don't like seeing guys, after their prime who come in and they're just getting it for a paycheck. I don't think GSP would do that. I think he's picking up some heat because the UFC is going to be back in Montreal. So he's going to be there. They're getting a lot of interviews and footage with him and content. He did mention he's coming back from a shoulder surgery. He's not quite 100%, but he's never going to return to MMA. He said that's not who he is, but he wouldn't rule out coming back and doing like a special event for grappling or a charity event or something like that. So I would definitely like to see GSP. At least he could come in and class it up a little bit. You know, we could have one guy that'll come in and like do a good job and be a professional and not say something too wild. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. I think he would do well, man. He's a top tier athlete. So if they could pull that off, that would be nice.
So hold up. You mean to tell me the whole secret this whole time to bringing GSP back was just to throw some charity at him?
Yep.
Like, literally, that's the only way. Like, how do we not have the equivalent of a Girl Scout hounding this man to buy some fucking Thin Mints in the sake of charity? We need to sick somebody on him full time. We elect one person in the community who talks to GSP and says, hey, listen, I've got a charity. Which one? Which one do you like? Because the upside here is we get to see my man, the GOAT, GSP return. Now, I understand it's hard for sometimes GSP to listen to people like you or me because we are not GOAT status. Well, maybe in our respective fields we might be. But like in terms of MMA, GSP may only hear the voices of other GOATs. So what I think I'm going to do now is I just need you to give me 2 questions, Tim. And I will speak to GSP in the only way I think he truly knows how to feel and understand.
If you come back, who would you like to fight?
Oh, thank you very much for the question there, Tim Freeman. Does that mean you are free man? Very nice. I like that you change your name. The previous German Hitler name you had, very bad, but Freeman, very good. Come to America, number one. What I would like to do for a number one country in America is, I would like to battle. I think I would pick as an opponent Hitler because I did not like him. And I feel like I would take on Hitler. I think I could get good cross Ashi on Hitler. He's not very good at defending. Danaher told me twice he was not very good at that. So he does lots of study on him. But yeah, very good with that. And ask me your second question.
What would you say about a possible rematch in the grappling format against Nick Diaz?
Wait, against Nick Diaz, the one I fought? Why could I not take on Nate Diaz, the person who probably not as good right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw his fight with the Paul brother. I think I can take him very nicely right now, too. But Nick Diaz, no disrespect, but his tummy looked very full. GSP, very, very jealous of his ability to run marathon and also, how do you say, eat. GSP didn't know what that was like. GSP always 6-pack, even when not training. What I would say to you, Freeman Tim, is it's important for GSP to still be number one of all time in your heart and in your mind. But I don't know. What charity should I compete for? Should I compete for the Blue Cross, the Red Cross? Should I raise money for the still haven't built New Wave facility? It only took them 9 years. No big deal. Could raise some money for them. Apparently, they are cash heavy with Gordon Ryan. So much cash, could not open academy. Figure that one out, America. I tried to give him advice. No seep in. That will do it for me, talking GSP to GSP so that he understand where we come from. But Tim Freeman, you do what is opposite of exceptional. You do regular amount of work, and I appreciate it. Congrats.
Nice.
It's not, listen, anytime we get to do a GSP voice, I will take the opportunity to do it. Even if it doesn't go away. It's never rusty. All right, Tim, let's go to our next topic, which is, if we're talking about this, Speaking of GSP's last comment, it does seem like New Wave is going under a rebranding. Tim,
Mhm.
what the hell is this rebranding and what are they going by now? Because wasn't the whole concept of rebranding the first time to just have a name that we would all get used to? Now it looks like we have to call this something else entirely.
Yeah, yeah. New Wave was the result of the B team split. It was the original moniker. I guess the proper name is Henzo Gracie. And then they were the Danaher Death Squad. They were a faction within Henzo Gracie. And then they moved to Puerto Rico. And then they were the Danaher Death Squad in Puerto Rico. And then they split and it was B team and we don't know what that team is. And then they're like, oh, I know. I watched a movie where it's New Wave. We're going to be New Wave, which is a ridiculous name for a team. But so then that finally caught on and now it's going to be changed again. I believe the new name, and I'm not a fan of this name. This name sounds like like in the early 2000s when they started putting a bunch of money into these old school bowling alleys and like sprucing them up and doing rock and bowl and having alcohol. This is called New Wave is now Kingsway, which is like just a terrible name. I don't even know. I guess Gordon's the king, so it's Kingsway. It sounds like a smorgasbord restaurant, but yeah, I don't know what the point is. I actually think New Wave, if you're just looking at like merchandise and the ability to get people to remember it, I think New Wave sticks a lot better than Kingsway. But Gordon gonna Gordon, so he's going with that right now, and we'll see what happens. I'm sure it'll be successful. I'm sure there'll be people sign up and they'll proliferate the name. But yeah, not a real brilliant strategy though.
All right, let me read to you what a quick Google search will tell you about the name Kingsway. AI overview. Kingsway most commonly refers to a road or a street, particularly in the United Kingdom, often named after a king or royal procession. Cool. Can't think of anything more American than emulating something from the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
What do I say about this? I didn't even really put the association for it being Gordon King Ryan as a thing, but it does have an absurdity to it. Like, legitimately sitting here and thinking about where do you go to do your jiu-jitsu? I go to Kingsway. Could you not? It doesn't sound great. Just say you're going to Gordon's gym. Say you're going to Gary's gym. Say like whatever it is. Kingsway Gym is a silly name for a number of reasons. One, I guess we have to call it Old Wave now. Is that what we want to refer to it? Old Wave seemed to at least establish something with good marketing and whatnot. Kingsway is lending itself to the Trump world of gold toilets. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's so over the top, it's silly, and maybe that's what they're going for. I just know that trying to harness that name is a little silly. Like, none of us are knights here. I know that there's the battle element. Even if you're talking about Kingsway, guess where there's a Kingsway? In fucking Melbourne, Victoria. So, all these different places have Kingsways, none of which are in the United States, with the exception of Kingsway, Ohio. And who's trying to name anything after anything in Ohio? Just legitimately think about that. Having said that, Tim, I look forward to trying to come up with some puns on that because it's going to be so awful to have to say. And introducing from New Kingsway. Like, the announcements are going to be really kind of silly. Like, that's the only way I can say it. If I were doing the announcements, it might come out like, and coming from Kingsway. Yeah, okay. That's way better than New Wave.
Man, you and I were there what a lot of these people that are new to the scene or newer to the scene don't know what the full Gordon Ryan Genesis story is. We were there, and it's kind of funny and ridiculous at the same time to think that all of this king nonsense was started with a lamely branded burger restaurant called Burger King. And these boys went to Burger King and came back with a Burger King crown, and Gary was wearing it everywhere. And then Gordon started wearing it, and then he became the king because he ate a cheeseburger at Burger King. And now it's on his logo for his brand new school. And I don't think he knows that Burger King trolled him. Funny enough, Burger King is also not an American company. So listen, I love USA. I do. I love it. But I also read, and I I invested
Whoa,
in
you
education.
stop there, sir. You know people don't read in this sport. That's fucking cheating. That's worse
Gordon.
than doing any doping, according to Gordon Ryan. How dare you read? You can steroid all you need to, because that's not against the rules technically. But you read, oh motherfucker, USADA's coming to visit you in the middle of the night, and they're saying, "How many books did you read?" You know what I mean? The more I say it, the more I talk about like banning books and all that stuff, and it does get into darker territory. So I don't want to go too far down that way.
If I had a friend that was as smart as Dan Herr, I would stop reading. Also, I'd just be like, "Tell me what to think."
Traditionally not dangerous as well, so that's great. I would say you reminding me about that is that even if we're talking about the Burger King, we're talking about an iteration of something Conor McGregor was doing. So when Gordon showed up with a giant crown on his head and a cape, you're like, this is literally a derivative of that. So sounds fun. Which in itself is Jerry the King Lawler. You go through professional wrestling. We're just always stealing for pro wrestling. So never tell me that, like, oh, you still watch pro wrestling? I was like, you do. You just don't know it. Last little thing I want to comment on that. If you're talking about Burger King, does that mean that we get to do the Burger King theme song now with it? I don't know if you guys see this. You have to. With all the ESPN Plus you have to consume to see UFC products. But it's now making me think, logically, we're doing Burger King, which is Gordon King, now doing King's Way. It has to then emulate from the same theme song, which is, 'cause at King's Way, have it your way, unless you're gay. So, I don't know. We're in the process of figuring out the wording of it. It's still new. We'll get there when we get there.
Oh my God. Now that song's stuck in my head.
You're welcome. The good news is we can now go to an even stupider topic, which is, hey guys, you're making us do this. This is literally all you've been talking about. How one gorilla would fare against 100 human beings. Tim, I'd love for you to tell me how you think 100 human beings could work. And specifically, if we have an advantage in the world of combat sports, specifically the jiu-jitsu realm, how would we do?
Listen, gorillas are getting overhyped here. I don't know what the deal is, but 100 people. Look, I don't even need 100 people to beat a gorilla. I could have 3 of my hillbilly friends. We could take a gorilla. I'm pretty sure. Look, if you lock arms like this and you just come up on it, you could take them. The other thing you can do, which this is a 2-man game. One guy gets down below him, and the other guy stands in front of him and pushes him, and you just tabletop him. You knock him over, and then you could whoop a gorilla. I think that the internet needs a job. Like the gorilla meme is really out out of control, and I've been trying to avoid it, but I did get roped into the 1 million men versus 100 versus 1,000 gorillas, and it was a simulation. The gorillas won. Said only 12 gorillas died, and then they killed all the men. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't even think gorillas are that tough, to be honest with you. They're big and they're strong, but I don't know. Not that many dudes. There's no way. I think they would get whooped. I did see Gordon Ryan post about how many Gordon Ryans would it take to beat a gorilla, and he posted the screenshots of his message with Danaher, and Danaher basically told him, "Yeah, it's probably not going to happen." Gordon's idea was that the Gordonettes were going to elbow and punch the gorilla to beat him. So I don't know, Raph. I don't know what's going on with the gorilla thing, dude.
Clarification. When you say you got roped into it and then you watch the simulation.
Yeah.
Where in the ranking of responsibility are you for contributing to the problem?
Well, I'm addicted to the digital drug. I didn't know it was a drug. They gave it to me. Now I'm hooked on it. So I can't really be held accountable like for participating. You know what I mean? What got me was I knew it was AI. I could just tell the way it looked. It had that AI does something where some people they all have like 15th century haircuts or something. You look at it and you're like, something's not right. Why do they all have 6 fingers? And I don't know. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. This is what I thought. There's no way 1 million dudes can't beat 1,000 gorillas.
So all they did was just change the equation.
Yes.
Which is still proportional to the initial question, maybe just slightly off. Really, all they did was say like, oh, 1 versus 100. That's obnoxious. Let's make it even bigger so that the simulation can answer essentially the same question we're trying to ask here. Let me get to my point here. Listen, all of you, stop it. Whatever it is you get interested in, you run this shit into the ground. The UFC put up a post yesterday that said, how would we fare against 1 gorilla? And they asked fighters who are in the middle of weight cuts, and an all too eager Micey is, by the way, my favorite fucking stumble I've ever had. Micey is probably the better name. Good. Holy fuck.
Oh, no. You just did it, right?
I did.
You did it.
Yeah. Hold on. I have cracked the code, Tim. Micey Amici is a way better name than we know it. I'm keeping that shit in. I know it's live, but forever. Micey's the way I'm gonna have to refer to him for the foreseeable future. But it's not spelled Micey. It's 100% spelled MIC. How you spell the last name, you guys know. Okay. Even in this discussion, we have people right now in the comment section who are telling us, I see you, Bryce, and I can give a little sympathy to you. You got injured, so you got time on your hands. But you said a gorilla gasses out after 20 humans. You really think so? Okay, let's say 40. So not only are you trying to think about it reasonably, you're like, no. I misspoke. Definitely would be this. And then you said we send waves of 10. The first 4 waves are noble sacrifices. Bryce, you're the most injured person in this chat right now. You would be one of the sacrifices. Do you not get this? Also, how do you tell people they're a sacrifice? Do you have a drawing? Do you pull straws and you're like, shit, I'm on the sacrifice team? Stephen Aiken, for all of his adorableness, says, I'll help them. Who's them? Are you helping?
The gorillas.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your team gorilla? What a fucking traitor here. You guys aren't even thinking about that. Who are trying to logically put this through. And then I'll get to the stupidest of all, which is, can the core group of the bullpen beat a gorilla? No, we cannot, because we can't even get press passes for CJI. So I don't think we're going to have much chance. If a gorilla has us do paperwork, he's already beaten this team. But let me come back to the real issue at hand here, people, which is this. I don't know why. I don't want that one. The real issue is this. I don't know why that people have to do these things and then take them to the extremes where we can't get rid of it. So yes, I put up a meme yesterday that was like, let's break it down for real. And I reminded you guys, go like, comment, and subscribe to the Bullpen, Grappling Hour, and Inside BJJ. And you might say to yourself, but you're not answering the question. And I'll tell you the reason why. One, I now know you have free time. You have shown me on the internet. You have shown me that you have the free time to discuss a theoretical fight with a gorilla, with you and 99 of your homies, but you don't have the time to rate and review Inside BJJ on fucking Apple and Spotify. Go fuck yourself. Do it right now. Go to that fucking website because you literally, Bryce, if I have not seen you give me a fucking rating, all this shit I see right here is telling me you have the time. It is astounding. The time you say you don't have for real things to support your real friends, but you'll support and indulge talking about a goddamn gorilla fight. This explains why the movie Congo did so well. And yes, I am a huge fan of the Kong versus Godzilla franchise. Bang for your buck, exactly the type of movie you need it to be. But be good to your friends. Go help them. You know what? Proportional. For every one comment you make that's stupid about these dumb discussions, you need to go purify yourself like Prince told us back in the 80s and go give ratings and reviews and likes and comments and subscriptions to your friends. And you know what? Go fuck yourself. Go support me on Patreon and Tim on Patreon. Those are my thoughts.
I agree with those thoughts, dude. You know, and honestly, you're right. You make some good, valid points. Although I do disagree. I think a light bullpen crew, sans Kevin, could still take a gorilla. They're not that tough. You guys are giving them way too much respect. Way too much respect for the gorillas.
So I guess the other question that I have here is, why the fuck are we fighting gorillas? I have no reason to fight an animal. Yeah. And you know what happens? This is how AI is going to fight us. So that's why every time I ask AI to do something for me, I say, thank you, AI, because I believe when Skynet takes over, they might remember me as being one of the few that was pretty nice to them. So when I tell you guys, you're like, I don't know, how's this fight with a gorilla going? Dude, if I even mention that I can beat up the best fighter at my gym, you think that doesn't entice them to go, do you want to fight now? The gorillas are able to communicate.
This is a government psyop to stir up tension, interspecies tension between humans and gorillas. We've seen this play out. We know what they're doing. They're trying to get us stirred up. They're trying to get the gorillas pissed. It's not cool. As far as I know, most of the time, humans and gorillas get along pretty well. Like, you know.
Sigourney Weaver did not take time going into the mist just for us to sit here and shit on them. She literally tried to communicate with them so that we would have a good standing and ability to be in harmony. And you're telling me all of that was for naught. I'm just saying. And it says, look, I heard a gorilla was talking shit about Bret Hart. Well, first of all, Mr. Gorilla. It would be Gorilla Monsoon. Sorry, Brian, he beat your joke. I was going to indulge it and be mad and pretend to be mad, but his is better than yours. And hold on. No, I'll get mad for real. Bryce, but I am subscribed. Not enough. Did you leave a rating and review? No, you didn't, motherfucker. You know why? Because I know who the people are. Every time I see it on there and I know who writes the ratings, I'm like, oh, that cool guy. That's my friend. Bryce, you are not one of those people. And you can't train jiu-jitsu, so you have the time to actually write review. RAF is great. 5 stars. Love the show. Will make fun of you if asked. Sometimes even not even then. Anyway, I just want to say that nothing made me happier, Tim, than putting up this photo. And before we move on, I don't ask AI to do a lot. We mentioned that. But when I do, it really does come through because I said, AI, give me a photo of a gorilla beating 100 jiu-jitsu no-gi practitioners. And this is what it gave me.
They're all in gis.
Like, I
He had
couldn't
to
even
put
get
him
mad. And like, look at the body parts on that dude on the floor. It's when AI starts to crap out and it's like 20 different body parts in one. Like,
oh, yeah.
It looked like two things were happening here. And I guess the weird part is, why are they still training in the background? Do you see that dude? Like, why are they still rolling?
It's open mat.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's
not-
how dumb we are as jiu-jitsu practitioners. The gorilla doesn't have to do shit to us. We're going to be taking out each other because we're trying to figure out who's the best person at open mat.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it be dumb. Let's go to our next topic before I get too mad at everybody. Requests. Oh, actually, no. This is probably... I realize now my pacing here. I put this one after the gorilla, which is equally as stupid. Allow me to tell a quick story. I'll put the time up so we make sure we're on. Yesterday, while training, I did a little bit of a challenge. And I go to one of our white belts, and I look at another of our white belts. I'm rolling with one of them. And I look at the other one just because I got bored. And I said, hey, you pick it. Tell me what submission you want me to get. The other white belt says, I want you to get an Americana. And I was like, say less. I do it. I hit an Americana. The other dude's laughing. So then it got me thinking. I was like, why don't more people do this? Like, why don't more people start calling out their submissions? Gordon Ryan was calling out the submission he wanted to hit. I think you should be taking hits by request. So I thought for the month of May, we should be a you pick a month, which means if you're rolling with somebody, you like your odds, go ahead and call it out and see if the community has something they want you to hit. But here's a little caveat, especially for somebody like my good friend Tim, who is a black belt and I'm sure could do it. Little secret here is, after hitting the one guy with the Americana, I waited to roll with the other guy and then hit him with an Americana. So it went from, oh, because we have to be fair. This is a no DEI society. Yeah. We need to make sure that we're equal opportunity Americanaists. So that is why I put this to you. So to you, Tim, what are your thoughts on this challenge I'm proposing? What do you think is the feasibility of seeing it happen throughout gyms in the world?
Highly feasible, I think. Really they just need to be given permission, and we give you permission. Go forth, call your shot. I love the idea. Second, I have to salute you on the clap back though, because you took the great idea, you did what dude told you to do, and he's feeling pretty good about it. He's like, I just enticed coach to go hit an Americana on Billy or whoever, right? Sucker. And then you turned around and you had to go correct him. Like, hey, even though it was funny, son, that you used that curse word and everybody laughed, now you got to get corrected at home. And then you did the move on him. That's beautiful. That's what a true jiu-jitsu coach does. So kudos to you. I love the idea. Tell me what you would like me to do. I love torturing my students. You give me some subs to pull off, I'm for sure going to try to hit them. I'm almost positive Kevin would be in on this if we could find him. But yeah, man, let's do it. I think that's fantastic. It's a great idea.
So this is my challenge to everybody for the month of May. When you're rolling at an open mat, openly call out for requests and see what happens. The worst thing that'll happen is you don't hit it and then people don't like you. But if you've seen certain videos with me with certain athletes, sometimes the you pick them, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You would have to go to patreon.com/grappling hour to find out which times it has. Nonetheless, we're going to go now to our fight of the week. Tim, what can you tell us about this week's low light highlight?
So this is a prime example of a game that men play to relax. They're out in the nature with their buddies. They have real nice, it almost looks like, like business casually style clothes, but they're breathable, so they're athletic. They get to pretend they're athletes when they're obviously not. And they get to get out of the house for 6 hours and away from their wife. So these guys are out on the golf course, hitting some balls, drinking some buds, probably having a good time. And apparently one crew plays slower or didn't use the right 9-iron. I don't freaking play golf, so I don't know. But it's pretty funny to see super laid back, chill guy who processes loans all day turn into you don't know me guy. Both guys saw red, bodies hit the floor, and ultimately cooler heads did prevail. But very, very nice peek into this beautiful thing that rich people play during the day while we are at work, the lovely game called golf.
Oh boy. Well, that is some intro, Tim. I'm going to let you take the first stab at telling us what we're seeing here.
So we got a big shove. This turns into a push contest, and immediately dude in blue shirt starts throwing hands, and he goes Mayweather. Both guys hands down. From their time on the streets, they learned this technique, and blue shirt lands some pops, does a pretty good job, and now he gets pulled off. It's like, it's not worth it. Now white shirt guy pulls the shirt off, and he just missed a back fist, fell down, and now hat guy, he starts to get involved. Now shirtless guy goes, I'm out, I'm taking a walk. And now other dude comes in, and he's like, we're gonna find out what's going on. Pink shirt guy came in the bottom of the frame, but he's too afraid. Blue shirt guy's running the hill right now. Like, he's running the hill, nobody's messing with him. Pink shirt guy really kind of popped in at the end. But my favorite, and this is not one with a lot of big shots, but my favorite part of the video is when dude takes his shirt off. I don't know what it is about fighting that makes you feel like you got to take your shirt off. Maybe it got yanked off. I think he took it off. And then he swung it. He swung it a little bit, and then he's like, fuck it, I don't care where my shirt goes.
Well, I mean, he was that's a tough one. Like, that's definitely middle of the road, because it is kind of dragged off him, but I don't think he was resisting it.
You know what that is? That is what you do when you took your kids to Disneyland and you get them back to the hotel and they're totally passed out and you're trying to change them, and you just you throw them in the bed, and as they're falling, you yank on the arm of the shirt and you just try to whip it off of them.
You can tell that we have two different approaches to how we categorize that one, because I thought ice hockey fight and you went into control your kids. So
yeah,
two different sides of the spectrum here. Allow me to take a quick stab at this, Tim. First things first, the shove, very good here. But I want to point this out. It is hard to really convince me that something is a gang fight when everybody is in a different Easter pastel. So every time you see that people want to fight, if you see them in a color spectrum that looks like it would be home at the Disney Channel, I can't take it seriously. I have a moment where I go, okay, gentlemen, are you going to fight or are you going to pretend fight? And this is along the lines of not a great fight. Let's discuss why. First things first, this dude starts with that shove, and then immediately blue polo comes in for the hits. Now, this is what tells you that I think is an important detail, is that not only are they going with hands down, but these guys are pretending like they have good head movement when all they're doing, white shirt here, is just eating it, but he's pretending like he's got Mayweather movement. Now, here's something that I want to bring up. This is how slow of a game golf is that not only does this fight take a long time to happen, but it takes even longer for these guys' reaction time to go, should we get involved? What are we doing? Well, he punched him. Maybe we should. Nah. Should we get involved? No. Fine, we'll help now. So you can tell this is interesting for this reason. Do you see a knee brace there, Tim?
Yeah, knee brace lady. Yeah, I do.
Knee brace lady is just like, why did I choose to go golfing with these idiots? On the one day I told him I have a knee brace, can we play through? Can we make it fun? And she's actively like, God damn it. Why are you guys fighting? And she's the bravest one of them all because she's risking her knee to go golf. Nonetheless, these dudes are sitting there. But when I asked about the hat here, Tim, I think the worst thing for me, it's not even seeing that maybe he's a little overweight. Who isn't in this day and age? It's that once that decorum is taken off, you realize why he was wearing the hat. Look at this haircut. I don't care how pixelated this is. This looks like a character from the series King of the Hill that has come to life through the screens for your entertainment pleasure. You talk about the idea of a shirt getting taken off. Yes, there's the jersey approach here. I think the thing I'm most mad at is you have a golf club. Why are we not using that as a weapon? Like at this point, and why did he try to choke slam him and he just rolled out of it? No. So now he tries a spinning back fist and gets ducked down for his efforts, which is the best 1-2 punch. And I don't know if you can tell this, again, very pixelated here, but it looks like he's bleeding here. Or he's just got an opaque mouth that is very heavy on the side of yikes. He staggers, to his credit, is not going down. Here's what I do appreciate about this for a very good reason, which is new character emerges and tells him, I got beef straight with you, Blue Polo. And what I love about this is like, this is essentially why Caddyshack 3 has not been greenlit. So let this be a lesson to you guys. When you go to train, it's not just so that you can be good at fighting. It's so that you can survive on the golf course. So be very clear about your intentions when you guys are getting in the training room. The only thing I'm going to bring up here is we did have a couple comments. The first of which was eco coaching style is shouting out the peer-reviewed papers to refer for this position. Yes, I will tell you this. There is going to be a lot of how is Greg Saunders going to coach? And what are people going to say about it? So that is a big question I have here. Tim, did you
I got locked.
You got locked?
Again.
Do you want to exit and return real quick? All right. Tim will be back here in just a second, but until then, I will just note here, Cosmic Jiu-Jitsu at Kingsway. Ugh, yeah, it really does sound like a fucking bowling alley, by the way. Tim is 100% right on it being a bowling alley. And I saw that you guys in the comment section were also telling me about the fact that Burger King Crown has taken a darker meaning thanks to Airplane Guy. Good to know. Thank you for that, Bryce.
Yeah.
All right, Tim. Now that we've essentially reached the end of the board, where can people go to find you if they have been so entranced by the conversation we've had here today?
You could catch me at Inside BJJ on your favorite social media platforms. If you're out in Nashville, come see me at 10th Planet Nashville. And if you're out in Stockton, please go see my team at 10th Planet.
Tim, I think you... There you go. For whatever reason, I think you were delayed. Go ahead and say something again right now.
I was saying the fight video, right? If you go back and watch it again and picture blue shirt guy as cantankerous Joe Biden, who's been woken up from a nap and he's pissed and he's going to throw hands. He kind of has the movement, kind of like I could see this. I could see it. Like
that was 100% Biden during the Obama years.
Yes, dude. Ready to throw.
You know what it is? He was getting there and he goes, "You calling me sleepy Joe Biden? Well, how about you go to sleep from Joe Biden?" Yeah, no, I could see it. I also love the fact that all of these guys look like prototypes of different politicians. Like none of them are the real person. They're all the stunt doubles for them.
It was the body double annual lunch. Thanks, Raph. My camera flipped out, dude.
It's all
Great
right.
show, man. I'm gonna jump off into the internet here and see if I can survive. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate you
Yeah.
very much. Tim Freeman, everybody. All right, guys, that is going to do it for Tim, but not for me, because I'm going to close this bitch up. I want to say thank you so much for watching this week's installment of the Bullpen. We appreciate you guys. I mean, look at this thing. Let's get one last look at this. This dumb thing that AI made for me is what I'm going to put up to remind you to go give us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. This is the shit you want to talk about. We did it. You know I hate this shit. And yet we discussed it for your viewing and entertainment pleasure. And we told you not only why is it stupid, but explained some of the science behind it. Tim actually watched a video breaking down the science of a gorilla fight. So don't say we don't do things for you, even things that I don't like, clearly. So find us at The Bullpen on Instagram. Yes, we do have an account there. Feel free to follow that. You can also find us at Inside BJJ and The Grappling Hour. Be sure, like, comment, subscribe, rate, and review. If you have enough time to talk about a fucking gorilla, you have enough time to rate and review this show. And be sure to go ahead and find us on all of our channels. You're going to see some Grappling Hour content coming out very soon that I am very excited to share with you guys. But ladies and gents, that is going to do it for us here at the show. Thank you so much for watching this week's installment of The Bullpen. We appreciate you guys. And, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.